You see? I can't even scare a crow. They come from miles around just to eat my feelings and laugh at my face.
Live from the governor's mansion, you're listening to the Crow's Corner podcast.
So I got with a sick ass clip and went all out.
Hey yo, peace and love, peace.
Yo, yo, yo.
Back again.
Your boy Adam Hill.
This is Wahamiyd.
This is Sick Cuz the Dub.
Another week of Crow's Corner, episode 11.
Another Saturday, you know what I'm saying?
Rainy Saturday. Okay.
So this is second Saturday in a row we did Saturday. That might work, that might be the new method, you know what I'm saying? The new MOs.
The energy a little better with me from last Saturday. You know, I had a large cup of Dunkin' blip, 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 blip coffee.
Dunkin' Donut coffee.
I ain't want to say the whole thing because we're not getting paid.
Right, exactly. If you want us to say what kind of beverage we have from Dunkin' Donuts, we need that sponsor, no doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Please, send that check.
No question.
But I had a large dark roast, extra cream, extra sugar. I think that set the mood for me.
Cool. How was everybody's week this week? How's everybody's week?
My week was lovely, man.
No doubt.
Had a good week at work, man.
That's cool. That's always
40 hours. I can honestly say I did about 10 hours worth of work.
And 40?
Yep.
Sometimes you have those days.
And then Friday was more like...
It's Friday, yeah.
All right, look. Take down the sheetrock. Take your time.
Right.
All right, that's what's up.
At least be happy I'm here on Friday.
Yeah,
because, you know what I'm saying? I really ain't want to be here.
But I was mentally tired yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm up there giving you the go hard, don't never get tired speech. But I was kind of glad you took that break.
On the soapbox.
Yeah, because I said, you know what? Hey, look, my wife know me so well. Because look, she said, you ain't doing a podcast? That's not Friday, like you. Right. Somebody called out. Somebody canceled. Ooh.
Right.
I said,
I'm always the bad guy.
No. This time I made you look good, yo.
Okay.
It was gonna take my time to throw you under the bus.
Yeah, as you done before in the past.
But I said,
as you done before.
I said, nah, you know, everybody's mentally drained. You know, and the proof of that is, I had my son get me to go live on 2K19 so I can play you.
Oh, now you gotta say.
No. Listen though.
Go ahead.
And then he's like, well, he's not responding, Dad. I said, okay, he's ducking the fade. So look,
there you go.
I'm playing the game. Once again, look.
Right.
So 5 minutes into it.
Not enough. It's real.
I'm done.
Yeah, mentally drained is one thing. I was physically drained. I don't know if you ever been so tired. You like, all I want to do was go home and hit and crash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was my whole mentality. I was letting everybody know ahead of time. Like, look, I ain't gonna make it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have those days. You know what I mean? But feeling, much better today. You know what I'm saying? Refreshed. You know what I mean? All praises due to the Most High for that. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. So we're going to get into our topic of discussion today, which is hot button topic. A little known topic, but a topic that, needs, some more attention.
No introduction too.
Yeah, it doesn't need no introduction, right? It can be a little dark, but I think it's necessary. We're talking about the history of lynching in America. More specifically, lynching in Maryland. Boom,
Ooh,
surprise. You ain't know that. You ain't even know that.
It's not hate to say that we were kidnapped and brought here. It's true. It's not hate to say that we were Jim Crow, discriminated and segregated. It's true.
Right. You didn't know that. You ain't know that.
Word up.
Our brother El Haj Malik Sabaz. You know what
Shout out to the Mason-Dixon line.
You know what I'm
Shout
saying?
out to the Civil Rights Movement.
No doubt. You throwing historical shouts now. That's a brand new thing, never been done before.
Yes, sir.
So this is about the history of lynching in Maryland. And little known fact, Maryland used to be the old line state. What that mean, old line? That means literally a line, imaginary line though, geographically, that separated the northern part of America from southern part of America. So if you was in Maryland, you was right there on that line,
South of the Mason-Dixon.
Exactly. So you had to, if you was looking for freedom in the South, you had to get through Maryland to be considered in safe or neutral territory.
Half free, half slave.
Allegedly safe territory, because lynchings go back as far as prior to the Civil War, after the Civil War, right?
Soon we landed on his rock. Started.
Right. Exactly. Pretty much. So there's a long history of lynching in this country, more specifically Maryland. And we pointing out Maryland because not only is that where we consider to be home, presently, but also at the same time, like, it's very, very important because Maryland has a very, very big significance in terms of these lynchings, right? So what is a lynching, right? What does it mean when you lynch somebody? You know what I'm saying? Lynches, predominantly were carried out by majority Caucasian, right?
White slave owners.
Mobs, like a mob.
Right. Used to be called a lynch mob, right? And this is when whole communities took justice, supposed justice, alleged justice in their own hands. And, basically it was like a vigilante group, but it was like so much of an accepted policy and practice, not even a policy, like a tradition, you know what I'm saying? It was so much of an accepted thing that everybody would come out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was like a public square.
Right, exactly. It was like going to the movies on Friday.
I was just about to say that. I was thinking about that, but I didn't want to bring that out, like, get the popcorn and the soda pop.
Absolutely. It was just like that. It was
live entertainment, Shakespeare.
Right. Like, we ain't even got to pay for entertainment tonight. We got entertainment. Entertainment is popping right now.
Hey, they may have to pay for it. Who knows?
Right.
Tickets.
So when you talk about lynching, right, it's usually a situation where the victim, usually an African American person, is most times accused of a crime. Allegedly, shaky allegations of a crime based on racial prejudice and racial biases and things like that. So the victim is usually a person of African descent, right? And so what generally happens is, the mob, they go to, really, let's go into the story of this one gentleman, right? There's this gentleman, right? And this is from an article in the Baltimore Sun, by Jonathan Pitts. And it recounts, incident in 1885 where an African American named Townsend Cook, right? 21 years old, was accused of assaulting, quote unquote, allegedly a white woman.
Same theme throughout history.
Same thing, right? Again, that fear concept, right? That fear that this person is a savage. This person, is coming for our women, et cetera, right? And so what happens is this person, Townsend Cook, the victim, African American brother, 21 years old, was already in jail. He was already locked up at the time this was happening, right? Again, this is 1885. So the mob comes through to the police department, the sheriff's department, whatever have you, right? Basically, shuts down and hog ties or like stops the sheriffs from, like, in their tracks from intervening, right? And these are law officials, right? So they shut the sheriffs down, the police officers down, take this person from his holding cell, and they in fact lynch him. You know what I'm saying? And when they lynched him, it wasn't something that was done in a humane way. It was done in a barbaric, really inhumane kind of manner, where people would be hung from the neck from a tree, left on display, get shot, be tarred, be feathered, be set on fire, all these sort of things. And this was a common occurrence. It was an act of terrorism, true terrorism. When you think about what is domestic terrorism, you're thinking about that. You know what I'm saying?
They set you on fire first,
right? And while you're alive,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a torture method, right? And
real quick, did he have a relationship with this woman, or was just falsely accused?
I don't know. I don't even know a whole lot about the specifics of the relationship. Usually, people were falsely accused. Usually, there was a racial bias and a racial undertone to these lynchings and things like that, simply because of the fact that the person is black, a person is of African descent, then they would carry out these acts of domestic terrorism, right?
Because real quick, the reason why I say that is, you know how something in a certain time is taboo. Now, in these days' time, it's not as taboo, but it is. But they have different methods of making you pay for it. So during that time, interracial couples or people who are attracted to another race, what have you, you know, get together. You know, and it's more risky far as with the person who's African American to be engaged to be caught.
No sort of thing.
So in order for the person that's Caucasian, whether it be male or female, in order for them not to be quote unquote embarrassed or shamed or take a fall for it, the easiest scapegoat is say he or she raped me or looked at me a certain way, something like that.
To avoid kind of like the social pressures and avoid being looked at. You know what I'm saying?
So every generation has that social pressure. You understand what I'm saying? Until it becomes the norm.
Okay, so definitely. And real quick before we end this segment, I just want to give y'all a fun fact. Right,
is it really fun?
Not really, but one of the most recent recorded episodes of lynching in Maryland was another brother named George Armwood in Princess Anne's County, right, which is in Maryland,
Eastern Shore,
which and that took place in 1933.
Wow!
And the reason why I want to point out 1933 is because we in 2018 right now. That's really literally 2 generations removed, right? 2 generations removed. So our grandparents, not even our great grandparents, but our grandparents lived in an era in which
years ago,
in which lynching was still practiced in this state of Maryland that we live in. So boom, fun fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, think about 85 years ago. Say you got 20 years old. You got someone that was 20 around that time, they may be 100 about, say, but like you said, grandparents' age.
Right.
Their kids are still here. You see what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of these ideas are still around.
Absolutely.
Just because, things are cleaned up and very, very sanitized in the way we talk does not mean that these ideas still do not exist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we know that by looking at trauma, more and more science and research coming out about trauma and how it affects people psychologically and physically, that people who are exposed to trauma, and that's what domestic terrorism is. That's what lynching is, trauma. You see what I'm saying? Let's put a word on it. You know what I mean? People who experience trauma, it impacts their brain functions. You know what I'm saying? Biologically, it impacts the receptors in the brain, and it has long-lasting psychological effects, which then can be passed down genetically, generation to generation. And we are only 2 generations removed. You know what I mean? Only 2 generations removed.
Real quick before we end this, I gotta say, before you do an unjust, evil crime towards somebody, just think, would you like that done to you? Would you want to be hung for something that's unjust? So that's something, done, some type of harm done to you. Unjust. Would you like that done to you? Just sit back and think about it for a minute before you commit some type of evil, unjust act.
Absolutely. Think about it. Wake yourself up. Stay woke. You know what I'm saying? Stay woke. Peace.
Crow's Corner Podcast, brought to you by
Jim Krow with their debut album, The Uninvited. See their side, already been told, but this music for the world.